Hey guys, this is Mike Badano, and you're listening to Sarcastic Remarks on 365 Sportscast Radio Network.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
It is going well.
You like our new intro? Isn't our new intro really cool?
Our new intro is very cool. I do love Mike Badano.
So we are, less than 2 weeks away from an actual season. How's it feel? You excited?
It feels like it should have started a long time ago. Winter is way
right?
more sad when hockey's not playing. It's just dark and cold and nothing happens.
Yeah, no joke. Hockey is so much fun to talk about. And boy, have we needed it, especially this year. And 2020 has given us some good news. So, all right, Chris, so we're going to dive into some of the stuff that we got going on. We're going to talk about, for those of you that have been living under a rock, we're going to show y'all what the season's going to look like. We're going to give y'all some details about that. There's some interesting line combinations that are kind of happening at training camp. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then we're going to look at the Central Division, and we're going to see what the standings are going to look like at the end of the season and where we think that's going to end up with. So anyways, let's just start with how this season is going to look like. So back on December 20th, the NHL released a statement on NHL.com, and they finally decided to let us all know what the heck was going on. So here's how the NHL season is going to look like. It's not going to be a full 82 games. It's just going to be 56 games, and it's going to start January 13th, kind of like what we already mentioned. It's going to be less than 2 weeks, and it's going to end around May 8th. So it's a little bit different times, but still, normally the season ends about the beginning of April, maybe mid-April, depending on the year.
Yeah.
But this is going all the way to May.
Yeah, I like the games. I mean, 56, of course, is shorter, so we don't like that. But, I mean, it's still long enough to feel like a full season. And hopefully, after this year, we can get back on track with the normal start times following this next offseason, hopefully.
Right. So there were a lot of challenges that the NHL had to face with coming up with this schedule. Just with, the travel restrictions, COVID guidelines that had to be followed. Canada's a little bit more, strict about their guidelines than maybe down here in Texas.
Border.
Right. So
those are tough to cross during pandemics for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why.
The training camps actually started for the 7 teams that did not make the playoffs. They started actually December 31st. So right in the thick and thin of the World Junior Championships.
Yeah, and those guys went because we stopped in March. So they went 9 months without playing a single game of hockey. That's kind of nuts.
That sucks for those fan bases.
Crazy.
Too.
I would have hated that. Well, then again, they were probably also tired of watching terrible hockey, so they might have been happy about it.
All right, well, wait, what are those teams? Let's see if we can think of those off the top of our heads, because I didn't write this down. Okay, I know it's the 3 California teams. So, Anaheim, LA, and San Jose. Then Buffalo, Detroit, Ottawa, and one more.
New Jersey Devils.
New Jersey, that's right.
We did
New
it.
Jersey.
We only had to look up one team.
So those teams got to start a couple days early, get a couple extra days of training camp in, which is nice for them. But yeah, so that really sucks for them, and I'm sure their fan bases are excited to see their teams, even if they are sucky.
Yeah, a 3-day head start doesn't really seem fair to the other teams that got to play a whole postseason, but whatever.
Right. Yeah, we only went
at this point.
Yeah, we've only gone since I think it was September 28th was when we lost the cup. So it's only been about 3 months. It hasn't really been that long. So about a general offseason for the Stars and for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is nice for us, but not so much for everybody else. Okay, so I'm just going to read straight from the article from the NHL website about how the playoffs are going to work. So, under the agreement, the Stanley Cup playoffs will feature 16 teams in a best-of-7, 4-round format and conclude around mid-July with the plan of returning to a normal hockey calendar for the 2021-2022 season and the regular season beginning in October. So, there's a specific reason why they want to end in mid-July. You know why that is?
Well, I just said it so we can play hockey in October again.
Right, that's part of
I
it.
got
But
the reading comprehension down, dude.
the what they don't mention in that paragraph in the explanation is what comes in mid-July. The Olympics.
Oh,
So
dude.
the Olympics are coming back. So obviously there is no way that the NHL is going to be able to compete with the Olympics for 2 weeks. There's not a chance.
Yeah,
So they need to finish by July 15th. Was their goal to end. So that's why they're wanting to end mid-July. And they're ending the season about May 8th. And the original plan actually was to start the playoffs around like June 1st was the basic idea. But if we learned anything from watching the NFL season and, specifically watching the Broncos start a practice squad receiver as their starting quarterback.
That was amazing.
Yep.
DCV.
You need to leave some time to make up games. So they've left themselves almost a little less than a month to, reschedule games if they need to. So that's one of the good things. Okay, now here's one of the interesting things, and probably the most interesting thing about this. So the games will be within realigned divisions only, including a division of the 7 teams based in Canada. In reaching agreement on the format for the 2021 season, the NHL and the NHLPA determined that the ongoing closure of the United States-Canada border required realignment and also sought to minimize travel as much as possible by shifting to exclusively intra-divisional play. So, what does that mean, Chris?
More rivalries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So, now, here's the interesting thing about this. So when they were doing all these divisions and we were watching all this stuff happen on Twitter about like, oh, are the Stars going to be in the West or are they going to be in this so-called Central Division, which is not really Central? Or, is Minnesota going to go over here and St. Louis going to go over here and stuff like that? And it was just all such a cluster and all this other stuff.
Yeah, we thought we were going to the West, and I was getting real upset about the 9:00 start times already, and I was getting mentally prepared about it, but I'm so happy we're in the Central instead.
Well, how do you think that St. Louis and Minnesota fans feel now? Now they got stuck with they got stuck with the 9:00 times.
Oh, they should go to a Stanley Cup playoff, and then they can get what they want.
I think the latest time that we have is actually our own times. I think it's the 7:30 is like the latest start time we have for any of these games,
which is amazing.
I know, I love it.
That sounds lovely.
So, so that means that you're only going to play the teams that are within your division. So because of the pandemic, the borders closed, and then every time that a team would go, like a United States team would go play a Canada team, they would have to quarantine for 2 weeks before they played the game.
Which wouldn't work.
Right, which would not work. That would be, I think that season would take 5 years? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So it sucks for the Canadian division. The travel they're going to have to go through. Can you imagine? Like specifically Vancouver? Like, that's going to suck for Vancouver, having to fly all the way across to Toronto and Ottawa and Montreal, and
but I think
gonna suck.
For a pure hockey fan standpoint, I think it's gonna be awesome though. Just watching the Canadian fans go at each other for a whole season, that's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fun little matchups in there. So with this 56 game matchup, that means that out of the 8 teams in each division, each team is gonna play all the other teams 7 times. In the 3 U.S. 7 times in the U.S. divisions, And then in the Canadian division, there's only 7 teams, so they're going to play each other 9 or 10 times. So Calgary and Edmonton, the Battle of Alberta, they're going to have it 10 times. That is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's going to lead to some very scrappy, gross, and fun to watch hockey, I think. That's going to be so fun.
oh man, it's going to be awesome. Okay, now what this also does is that normal teams that wouldn't play against each other in the Stanley Cup final may end up playing against each other in the Stanley Cup final. So when you think about it,
Yeah, there
Toronto,
could be 2 Western Conference teams playing against each other.
exactly. Yeah. So it could be like Vancouver and Vegas, or it could be like 2 Eastern teams, like Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, or something like that. That would be
weird.
That would be very weird. So it opens up all these avenues for these things to happen. All right. And then, so let's talk about, I don't think anything else about this really matters.
Well, real quick, just this whole like only playing within your division thing, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Like for one season, I wouldn't want this to be like an every time thing, but just as an experiment, I think it's going to be really awesome. I mean, we're going to have debates between divisions of which division is better, and those aren't going to be settled until playoffs. It could lead to some really cool stories happening, and I'm really excited for a weird season, but I think it'll be fun.
I know this is going to be interesting. This is, I mean, and especially with the pandemic and everything, this is something exciting to get excited about. This is something new. So, when they first came, I'm going to tell you guys the divisions and who's in what division, because just so you can follow along. When they first released these divisions, I was kind of upset. It's because I was really hoping that they would come up with something a little bit more creative for their names, rather than North, West, Central, and East. Because these divisions, especially the Central, it is not a Central division.
They should have called it South. It would have been the exact same.
Right. But recently with the sponsorship deals, that's explained why that was doing that. The hockey guy on YouTube was the one that kind of got me on that idea. I was really excited. It's like, oh, maybe this could be like the Gretzky division, and then this one over here can be the Gordie Howe division or whatever. But I understand now why they didn't. Get more money, more revenue opportunities. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Anyways, I'm just going to go through this really quick. In the 4 divisions, there's the North Division, aka the Canadian Division. So that's Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg.
West Division, that's just all the Canadian teams.
Right, that's all the Canadian teams. In the West Division, you have Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, Los Angeles, Minnesota, San Jose, St. Louis, and Vegas.
Goodbye, Colorado. I'm so happy we don't have to play them.
I know, right? So the only time we will see them, possibly, is in the semifinals of the playoffs, or in the finals of the playoffs. I think it depends on how they reseed at the end of the stuff.
That's anyway, a whole other story.
In the not so central division, we have Carolina, Chicago. Okay, that makes sense. Columbus. Okay, maybe. Dallas, definitely central. Detroit, maybe central.
I mean,
Florida, definitely not central. Nashville, definitely, probably central, even though they're central time zone. And then definitely not central Tampa Bay. So I think this is the first time in history that the Stanley Cup champions and the Stanley Cup finalists are in the same division. Think about that.
And yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, there's no possible way it could have happened.
And that makes me think of why maybe the Stars went to this division rather than the West Division. Because for a while it looked like us and Minnesota were going to flip-flop, or us and St. Louis, one of the two. And St. Louis was going to go to this division, and we were going to go to the West. So, and depending on how you look at this, it may or may not be in our favor. It really just depends, right? And then before we get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself. The last division, the East Division, Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington. That is an absolute division of death right there. I mean, when you think about that,
yeah. Well, the Metro was anyway, and it's mostly Metro teams in that one.
Yeah, and it's like, is Buffalo? I don't think Buffalo's in the Metro, right? I think that's one of the outliers. And then I don't think. Well, maybe all these other teams are in the Metro Division.
Yeah, I think
The
so.
original Metro Division. I can't remember. Okay. Anyways, so let's talk about the Central Division with our next little topic, and let's talk about where we think the Stars are going to end up, and where we think the rest of these teams in the Central Division are going to end up. And I literally did a YouTube video on this about 3 weeks ago when I thought the Stars were going to be in the West Division with Colorado and Vegas and stuff like that.
And now
And then
it's useless.
and then 3 days later they changed it. I'm like, well, crap. And I was too lazy to take it off, so I just left it. Whatever. Okay, so anyways, so we've got Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, Tampa Bay. Okay? So let's start with our number 8 seed, who we think is going to end up at the bottom. And I think we have a general consensus on this one. Who do we think is going to end up 8?
Detroit.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. They had the worst season in NHL history almost. So, yeah.
Definitely in the salary cap era.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I love Detroit.
No, we don't. No.
Okay. Specifically, I do. Nobody else does. Chris hates Detroit.
No, I hate Detroit, and I'm glad to see that they suck.
They did go to the playoffs 20 plus times in a row, so that's kind of not fair.
Eat it, Detroit.
Okay. All right. So that's I agree with you there. That I don't see Detroit. It's going to be a couple years before they finally start getting there. Although Steve Yzerman is their general manager now, and he was the one that put the Stanley Cup team together in Tampa Bay that destroyed us. So yeah. So watch out for the Red Wings, and give them 5, 6, 7 years.
That's a lot of years.
I backed it up. I waited, and I waited 5, 6, or 7. It's not going to be 2 or 3. It's going to be a while. So, anyways, okay. So, all right, number 7. Anyways, number 7. Who do you got for number 7?
Chicago.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you there. I got Chicago at number 7 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a full. I wouldn't call it a rebuild quite yet, because whenever you have Patrick Kane, it's never a rebuild.
They're when the Rangers were holding on to Beltray and Elvis and stuff, and they weren't really winning, but they didn't want to get rid of the guys because they loved them, and they're just kind of hanging around making money, I think. So, right, and I think that I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I think Chicago is in that, and I think they have 3 years. To get their young guys up there and pushing them and stuff like that. Although I might have had them at number 6 under the team that I have at number 6, but guess who they lost? They lost Kirby Dach at the World Junior Championship, and I don't know if you saw the picture of his wrist on Twitter, but it was disgusting. No, I avoid pictures like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can handle blood and bodily fluids and disgusting stuff like that, but a broken bone. Yeah, I know. Blah, spit. Anyway, and then but broken bones and stuff like that, and contortionists and stuff I can't stand contortionists. That makes my body cringe. I can't do it. So anytime they're on America's Got Talent or something like that, I can't stand it. I will not watch it.
Yeah, I just don't watch America's Got Talent because it sucks.
It used to be good.
No.
It used to be good. Welcome to the Stars podcast, where we talk about America's Got Talent. And then not only did they lose Kirby Dach, but they also look like they're going to be without Jonathan Toews for a period of time. And I don't care how old he is, he's still Jonathan Toews. So that's 2 players out of their top 6 that are out. So I think that's going to hurt them tremendously. All right. Anyway, number 6.
I'll say Nashville because I think they're going to keep getting worse.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is our first disagreement. I actually have Florida here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That's going to be my next guy.
Yeah.
So. I was between Florida and Nashville, but I feel like Florida's on the up and Nashville's on the down, so I switched them.
Yeah. So anyway, Florida is. I've got Florida at 6 just because they were all hyped up last year, and they looked like a great team on paper. And like Bobrovsky was supposed to be that last little thing that they throw in there to make them a cup contender. And dude, did Bobrovsky like suck it up, and the team did not follow. And then they lost Adanoff, they lost Hoffman, and they just lost a lot of players. So, and there's all those things about the Panthers trying to cut money and save money, and their budget's lower now. Excuse me. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's all true, but I feel like just it takes them maybe even just meshing better this season because like they still look decent in that extended playoff that we had, but yeah, I feel
really.
They're on the upswing though. Like they've got guys, and if those guys can figure out where they fit into this team, I feel like they can play a lot better.
Although it's worth noting that the two goaltender prospects in the gold medal game for the World Juniors were both Florida Panther prospects. So that's freaking ridiculous.
Good job.
Okay. Anyway, number 5. Who do you have at number 5?
Wait, I said Nashville last, right?
Right, you said Nashville.
Yeah, I got Florida now. Florida.
Okay, I've actually got Nashville here.
Yeah, so we just flipped them.
Yeah, we just flipped them. So I think we have a general consensus on who's going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
So in these new divisions, the top 4 teams make the playoffs, and then for the quarterfinals for the playoffs, 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. So best team plays the 4th seeded team, 2nd and 3rd play each other. So who is your number 4?
Columbus.
Really?
Yes. I think Columbus is going to sneak in.
Don't hate me.
You're putting Dallas
I'm going to say
there?
Dallas.
Wow. Nasty.
I'm sorry. If we had, I'm just, and maybe I'm being very skeptical because of the season that's about to happen, but when you don't have your number 1 center and your number 1 goaltender, that hurts a ton. And I know we still have Dobby and he's great and everything, but with a condensed schedule like this and the way that the schedule is, which I'll mention that in a second, how that's going to go, you're going to need 2 goaltenders to do well in this tournament. And you know what? Maybe I'm completely wrong, and Ottinger turns up to be like a solid backup on his way to become the star.
You're completely wrong.
Starter. But I'm just very skeptical at this point.
I do understand the skepticism because you need to be good faster, right? So we don't have time to kind of figure things out without Bishop and Sagan. But I feel like we've got the guys behind us. I mean, that was our biggest strength in the playoffs was our depth. We were demolished, and we were still beating teams. So
right.
I think you make fair points, but I think Dallas's depth is going to show, and that we have just such good players that we didn't even have on the roster last season. So
right now at the defense depth wise for the Stars is ridiculous. I mean, we have so much depth there; it's insane.
You're always going to have somebody good to bring back up.
Right, exactly. So like, if Taylor Fredune gets hurt, who gets brought up? Joel Hanley. Oh,
yeah.
You mean the guy that scored a goal in the Stanley Cup final? Yeah, that guy.
We like that guy.
And then like, I know you don't like Honka, but if we need a puck-moving defenseman, Honka's there.
Honk. He could be NHL quality, but he's just a loser.
He's a loser right now. I really hope that he does really freaking well, because can you imagine if we had like it? Let's say that Honka meets that quality of what he was expected to be as a first-round pick.
Well,
so
if that happened, that would be stupendous.
Right. So you have Kleinberg and Lindell as your first pairing, maybe 1A, and then you've got Alexiak and Miro, the hero, as your 1B pairing, because, I mean, they both play pretty evenly. And then your third pairing is Sekera and Honka.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fair.
How great is that?
Yeah, that would be.
How great is that? Fair. That is so awesome. and then you have Taylor Fredune and Joel Hanley as your backups.
And they're both not playing. Or Syke. Syke's not playing either.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot about him. And he Nil wouldn't go out and get him if he thought that he wasn't going to be in the lineup. So.
Oh, he's in the lineup, definitely.
Dang. So. All right. So let's talk about. That was our number 4, right?
Yeah.
We talk about. Yeah, that was number 4.
Yeah,
okay.
You're a traitor. Continue.
So. All right. So number 4 was that. All right. So who's your number 3?
Carolina.
I
think they're like the Stars in 2010. Like 2010 was the Stars' best season, and they didn't get past the conference final. And that team, it just felt like they couldn't ever break into cup contention. They were just always make the playoffs, maybe win a series, lose. Or in that case, we won 2 series, and then we lost. But they just feel like a good team that there's no path for them to become a great team, which is really sad because I like Carolina.
Yeah, there's like a bromance between the Hurricanes and the Stars Twitter account.
I had that before the Stars Twitter account did it. I loved Carolina.
That's true. Yeah,
they've been my Eastern Conference team for forever.
Right. And now we have to play them 7 times. 7 times.
Yeah, that's sad. We're going to have to beat
I know,
them.
right?
Poor guys.
I know. So, all right. So I've actually got Columbus at 3.
Yeah, that's what I had at 4.
And the reason is because I seriously underestimated them last year. I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs or even like do halfway as well as they did. And I thought I mean, just like everybody else did, they lost all those players. They lost Panarin. He went to the Rangers. They lost Bobrovsky. He went to Florida. And they were fine.
Well, I mean, like, what makes them better, though, than they were last year? Because last year, if you don't count the 5-game series, they still didn't win a series.
Their experience that they got in the COVID playoffs really helps them, I think. And then when you have and then here is what they have that the Stars don't right now. They have 2 capable goaltenders who you can replace one with the other, and they will both do fantastic. They've got Merzlikins and they've got Korpisalo. Okay, that's just something that the Stars don't have. And as soon as Bishop comes back, maybe we knock them out of that 3rd spot. But I've got them at 3 just because Bishop will be out for so long.
I think Ottinger's going to be great. I've been wanting this guy to come up into the league for forever, so I have high hopes for Ottinger, and that might be clouding my judgment. But but I think the Stars are still better than them.
All right, so number 2. Let me guess what your number 2 is.
It's Dallas.
Stars.
Yeah,
I figured.
Because Tampa's still broken, and what's happening with their salary cap? They have more money than they're allowed. That's not allowed. So I don't know what's happening with that. But
now you could say they got extremely lucky with how it happened with everything, but they made some weird stuff to do to get under the cap.
Yeah,
they
named Kucherov. They did it on purpose.
Right. Yeah. Kucherov is out for the time being. He's on LTIR, so he's
for the season, right?
Oh, is it for the season?
That's what that might be some bull crap, but that's what I heard on the Reddit and the Tweetergrams.
Now, here's the sucky part about that is that's for the season. That's not for the playoffs. So in the playoffs, the salary cap doesn't count.
Oh yeah, they can come back. So
he could come back in the playoffs. Now that would be an awkward time to come back because he might not have the conditioning needed to be in the playoffs. But
hey, I mean, he's the score a goal, you're going out there.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, so that all of that happening, but and then they made a trade. Who did they trade with? It might have been with Ottawa. And they traded some assets out, and they got back Anders Nilsson and Marian Gaborik. Marian Gaborik's not playing anymore, and neither is Anders Nilsson. So basically,
So basically, they took all their money and they dumped it on top of another team.
exactly. They're
That's
like,
what
"Hey,
happened.
we'll take those two players who cost a lot of money in cap space. We'll put them on LTIR so it doesn't count against us, and then we'll give you these players so that as a thank you,
Yeah,
basically,
there's
to
some
Ottawa.
shenanigans going on here.
Hey, you do what you do to get under the cap, because otherwise you're not allowed to play. So anyway, that was insane. So, my number 2 is Carolina, and I love their forward depth. Now the only thing I did not like is there was some, I think it might have been on Twitter or maybe it was on Facebook. They had like a NHL thing as like which player is gonna be better, Natchez or Garyanov, or like which one's gonna score more points or whatever. And everybody was raving about Natchez, and I was just like, Gary scored 4 goals in a game against Calgary. No big deal. Okay,
Nobody
fine.
cares. Yeah.
Okay, fine. He'll be underrated, and he'll surprise
Like,
you when he's on.
I don't understand your comment about forward depth though. Like, their forward depth is nowhere near the Stars.
Okay, no, that's not true. That is absolutely. I'm gonna pull this up.
We could have a fifth line, and we could roll it with all the other 4, and we would be fine. We would be great, actually.
Okay, now hold on. Let me pull this up because I'm gonna pull it up. Now, off the top of my head, Svechnikov.
Well,
Svechnikov.
you gonna name their top forwards?
Well, yes.
Go to the bottom.
Hold on, I'm pulling up their team. Okay, you can chill.
Go to the bottom of their team.
Okay, so there's a lot of good players on this team. Okay, so their first line and these 3 guys are going to play together for a long time. You got Teuvo Teravainen and Andrei Svechnikov and where is he? Sebastian Aho. Those 3 guys, holy crap. That is a scary first line. That is something the Stars don't have.
Well, right now, because we don't have our Sagan.
Exactly. But
you said depth. You said depth. Depth is not scary first line. Depth is good fourth line. Tell me about the fourth line.
Okay. They've also got Nino Niederreiter. They've also got Brock McGinn.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking about the second line. I'm not going to go to the depth. Don't want to tell Chris right.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'll leave their forwards alone. What about their defense?
Our defense is the best blue line in the league.
Okay, I will agree with that. But
yeah,
they still have a good defense. Their forwards are better than our forwards, and their defense rivals our defense.
No, they're not.
Okay, let me throw you some names. Jacob Slavin.
That kid's good. You said depth. You said depth.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
You said depth.
He is one of
star power.
Shut up. Thank you. Okay, I'm talking. Jacob Slavin is one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. And then, okay, here's the rest of the names. You got Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Dougie Hamilton, Jake Gardner, who Toronto fans absolutely hate. Then you got an up-and-coming Jake Bean. I mean, that's just and Hayden Fleury. So, I mean, this whole decor looks scary. Okay? Now, the only thing I will say is their goaltending is kind of like ours right now. Normally, our goaltending is much better than theirs. But their goaltending is Peter Mrazek and James Reimer. So, goaltender-wise, they're not as strong as the Stars when Bishop comes back. But right now, it's about the same. So, and they can score at will. The Carolina Hurricanes can. So that really makes me scared, and that's why I'm putting them at 2. And then their defense is good enough to keep the puck out of their own net, and then that means that Mrazek and Reimer don't really have to try as hard.
I'm just mad you put them above the Stars. Like, our defense is so much better. Hudobin is so great. Our depth is better. You don't know what depth means. You don't know what forward depth means. Justin Dowling, Jason Robertson, Nick Camano, Joel L. Esperance. I don't know how to say his name, but I know
Esperance.
he's a good freaking hockey player. You know what depth means. We could roll a fifth line and we would be fine, and we don't have Tyler Seguin.
All right, so
And about depth, talk about our defense. Goodness, fourth is ridiculous.
everybody, I have made Chris, my brother, mad. I apologize, Chris.
Yeah, you made the people mad too. They're all on my side. I already know it.
Do you still love me or no?
No, I hate you. Continue.
No, I hate you. All right. Okay. So then, obviously, that leaves number one as Tampa Bay, right?
I think the Stars can contend with Tampa Bay. You're calling some bullcrap. I think Tampa is the best team in the league still, and I think they deserve to win the Stanley Cup, even if they didn't have any injuries and we had all of them. But yeah, they're a good hockey team.
I think there's one team that's better than Tampa Bay. Who do you think that is? Colorado, definitely.
We beat the pants off Colorado
with their third-string goaltender in net, and their third-string goaltender won 2 games. 2 out of 3. All we had to do was win 1.
Oh, they've got the McKinnon.
Okay, all right. So
I like how I talk about McKinnon like the Avengers talk about Hulk. And they're like, we have a Hulk, and I'm like, they have a McKinnon. Why can't we have a McKinnon? Like, we had a Jamie Benn at one point, but now that's gone. I miss old Jamie Benn. I miss Hulk Jamie Benn.
He's going to have to show up this year. Hold on. Well, you're getting ahead of yourself. We'll talk about the training camp here in a second. Okay. All right. So just a recap of the Central Division. Okay. Recap yours real quick.
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. I got to pull it up. Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Detroit is at the bottom,
mm-hmm.
followed by Chicago, followed by Nashville, followed by Florida. So they're all the guys that are out. And then in fourth, I have Columbus. Then in third, I got Carolina. Then in second/first, I have Dallas. And then in first/second, I have Tampa Bay.
I think there's a little bias there.
No, they can contend with Tampa Bay. We had all our guys out in the playoff in the finals, and we had Hudobin playing, and we still took them to 6 games.
Right.
The fact that we took them to 6 games was nutty.
Hold on. Here one of the reasons why I didn't want to put the Stars as first is there's a very specific reason.
Well, you put them at fourth, so I'm sure there's several.
I know, but the reason I didn't put them at first is because it's a very superstitious thing with me, and I went back and looked this up. Think about this. You can't
say the superstition.
How many teams who have been the best team in the league have won the Stanley Cup?
Tampa Bay did it last year, so there's one.
No, they weren't the best team in the regular season.
By the time the playoffs rolled around, most people figured that they were the best team. They had a rocky start, and they were like shooting up the standings.
Okay, but who was the best team? Boston.
Technically, it was Boston, yes. But we don't have to be the best team. We have to be the best team in the Central.
Right.
So that way we can beat the pants off Columbus.
All right. Here's my recap. 8 Detroit, 7 Chicago, 6th. Did I say Florida? Yeah, 6.
Yeah,
6. I said Florida.
You don't believe.
I don't believe in Florida. Sorry, Florida fans. No Florida fans are listening to this, anyways. 5th is Nashville. 4th is Dallas. 3rd is Columbus. 2nd is Carolina. 1st is Tampa Bay. That's what I've got for my stuff. And Chris is rolling his eyes at me as he does this. So that's how we think the Central Division is going to end up.
Chicago, Columbus,
this season.
Whatever.
Okay? And then not so Central Division. And actually, I think who's the corporate sponsor for the Central Division? Is it Honda?
I think it's Honda.
I think it is the Honda Central Division.
Honda Central Division.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now it's time for our 2 segments of the week. Yay! You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
We have segments now.
So you want to go first, or me?
I don't care. You pick. What order did you put down?
Okay, I'm gonna go first because I was really excited about this, and I watched the game. So This is Ryan's Shining Stars of the Week. The Shining Stars of the Week are, drumroll, the USA World Junior Champions. Heck yeah, baby.
We had like that child yay sound after that.
Yeah, we need some sound effects in that. Anyways, so the play of Trevor Zegras, who is an Anaheim prospect, thank God he's in the West Division. Yeah. He's probably going to play for the Ducks this year. And then Turcotte and Cole Caulfield, and just the brilliant play of Spencer Knight. It was an absolute fun game to watch, the gold medal game against Canada. And everybody was like, oh, Canada's so good. 19 first-round picks. Bull crap.
I was one of those people.
You gave it. Did you give us no chance?
I gave them no chance.
Oh, it was so awesome. And I even put this on Twitter. I was talking to the hockey guy about this, and he was talking about the Team USA is up 2-0, and there's like 5 minutes left. And I was like, it ain't over until the fat lady starts singing. And then he put a picture of a fat lady singing, and he said, well, she's warming up.
She was warming up.
But honestly, when you looked at the game, it was like watching a Stars game. It was really strange. It was very little
as if that style of hockey works, you know?
I know, right?
Almost as if you don't have to score 5 goals a game to win a professional hockey game.
Right. Although people would call that trap hockey.
Trap hockey,
yeah, defense. Defense wins championships. Shut up. Okay, so anyways, I'm off my high horse. Spencer Knight, absolute great. He's going to be scary when he becomes a Florida Panther. And Team USA, yeah, they got 6th place last year, and they went from 6th place to 1st place this year. So, yeah, baby. And it doesn't hurt that
matter.
You beat Canada.
It doesn't matter, but it's fun to rub Canada's noses in it.
Although, did you see the picture on Twitter with the team?
Yeah, with the
and
trash
what they did
can.
Yeah. Somebody tried to pass it off as like what did they say? Like a barrel or something like that.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, bull crap. Bull crap.
that was their mascot, the blue chemical barrel.
And it was for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Team USA took a picture with the trophy with their gold medals, and on the left-hand side of the picture, there's a like a blue barrel, and it has a picture of the Team Canada logo on it, and it looks like a trash can. It was awesome. I know. I loved it.
Now, Canada, or we have more. We have 4 gold medals, and Canada has 3 in like the past 10 years?
10 years?
15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
now, instead of Canada being so dominant lately, and just Canada, it hasn't just been the U.S. that's been, playing well in these junior championships. It's been Finland too. The Finns. And you know who's in charge of Team Finland?
The Finns?
Mr. Jari Lehtinen.
Oh, that guy.
26.
I know who that guy is. He
26.
Was a pretty decent hockey player.
Right. So, and he knows what he's talking about. He was actually the one that told Stars Front Office to go after Yoel Kiviranta. That is true. So go look it up. Fact check me. I dare you. Okay. Anyways, Chris, you have your own segment too.
Yeah.
This is Chris's. You got to be kidding me. Chris, what are you going to epically rant about today?
You've got to be kidding me.
You've got to be kidding me. I'll work on that.
Okay. So, we have...
Here he goes.
How many power rankings did I have pulled up here? There's 3 power rankings. Okay, and 2 of them, the Stars are outside of the top 10. Like, in the league. Like they were second. They were second. Right? Yeah, they were the runners up. Okay, and so in this one from moneypuck.com, they're trying to use some freaking smarts and stuff. They're trying to use some numbers, and their numbers apparently say that the Toronto Maple Leafs are 10th and we are 11th.
I find that hard to believe.
No! You're wrong, Money Puck. You're wrong.
Money Puck, you're drunk. Go home.
But and like all these teams ahead of us, we've got the Islanders are ahead of us. We would wipe the floor with the Islanders. The Canes. Apparently, you think we're worse than the Canes, but nobody else believes that. Minnesota Wild. We have been the Minnesota Wild's dad for the past 5 years. They have been our sons. Okay, so stop. Why? Why is everybody being so stupid? Okay, and then here's faketeams.com. It's like, this isn't just one power rankings. There's multiples. Like, there's many of them. So faketeams.com, their power rankings, I think they just decided this. So some dude with a blog was just like, hey, this is what I think. Now, he put the Stars at 13th. 13th. 3. He put Calgary Flames ahead of us. We trashed them. We wiped the floor with them. Are you kidding me? What an absolute joke. And then, so they're 12th. The Penguins are 11th. The Penguins have nobody left. All they have is a Crosby and a Malkin. That's it.
Only a Crosby and a Malkin.
Well, when those are your only 2 players, that's not very good. And
Jake Gensel.
Hey, stop talking. Guess
Captain.
who? This is my segment. Guess who's at number 5?
Who?
Guess.
It's probably somebody
Toronto
outrageous.
Maple Leafs again. Why? They're so bad. Are you kidding me? I don't like. I don't know, dude. I don't know. They got Nashville ahead of us. Like, they were.
Now that one really doesn't make sense.
Nashville at 10. He's like, be looking for a bounce back season. How? What are they going to bounce back with? Rubber? Like, that's the only thing that they have. They've got a bunch of pucks. That's the only thing they have. Okay, and so I looked at 2 blogs now. So now let's go to NBCSports.com.
Oh, boy.
NBCSports.com has the Stars at 9th. This is a professional communications. What? Guess who's number 8? Guess. Toronto Maple Leafs again. Again. Toronto. Who did they add? Joe Thornton? I'm pretty sure he's dead. He doesn't live anymore. Like, and
he's only 42.
In hockey, he's dead. Okay, who's 5? Flyers? They're not relevant. Who are the Flyers? They have not been relevant ever.
They have a very good team.
They've got a very good team. The Stars were 2nd. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Why are we 9th? Why?
Well, here's what I think. I think it's because everybody thinks that our run to the Stanley Cup Final was a fluke.
They think it's a fluke. That concludes, you've got to be kidding me. Everybody thinks we're a fluke, and they're idiots.
Okay, so this is what people are
not going to have much depth to it. Sorry, people.
Well, here's what I've seen about people saying about the Stars and why they have them all low like that. So first off, when you look at the people that we played, okay, so first off, we played Calgary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Calgary is up 2-1 in the series, right?
Yeah.
And then we tied it, or specifically, excuse me, not we.
Pavelski.
The love of my life, Joe Pavelski, tied it. And then sent us to overtime, and then we won in overtime and tied it at 2-2, and then that was the end of that series. And so they think we got lucky in winning Game 4 with that. And then when you look at the Colorado series, now that series I kind of understand a little bit. They were on their 3rd string goaltender, who was Michael Hutchinson.
Yeah,
Michael Hutchinson.
The only player who was doing anything was their McKinnon, and like I said, like I called throughout the series, McKinnon was going to get tired. Guess what happened? He
Game
got
6,
tired.
Game 7, he got tired. He didn't have a
Game
point.
6, he was tired. He only got 1 point, which I consider a win when you're playing a McKinnon. So when the series went on, McKinnon got worse. The Dallas Stars wore him down because that's the kind of hockey we play.
And then against Vegas, people think that Vegas is a good regular season team.
The floor with him. Trashed. Vegas is nobody.
Trashed.
Vegas is nobody.
The whole hand motion too. Trashed. Okay. All right. Goodness, you got me all riled up now, Chris.
Well, I'm right. I have a podcast and an opinion, so.
And yeah, just because we have a podcast, you have it, and people care about your opinion, right?
Nobody cares about my opinion, but I'm loud. So.
All right. Okay. We got a couple of things to talk about with interesting line combinations going on with the Stars.
Wait. So you agree with me, right?
About all of that?
Yes.
Yes, most of it is stupid. Especially the one about Nashville being ahead of us. That's ridiculous.
And Toronto like 4 times.
Right. Well, Toronto, I understand why they're like that, because Toronto, and then no, listen carefully, listen before you start hinting. It's because they have such a large media presence in Toronto,
I
and
agree.
Everybody loves Toronto,
except
right?
me. I hate Toronto.
Like if you go and look at the Sportsnet YouTube channel or like TSN YouTube channel, most of the videos on there are about the Toronto Maple Leafs, just because they have so many.
They're
fans.
the Toronto Sports Network.
Huh?
They're the Toronto Sports Network. So
right. Chris, you totally Steve dangled that. That was absolutely awesome.
No, Steve.
Absolutely awesome.
It was me.
Okay, so let's talk about the line combos. Interesting line combos before we run out of time here. So, they started camp on Monday. So now you gotta remember, this is without certain players. Okay, so 3 players in particular. So Sagan, because of his hip, Bishop because of something I already forgot. He's injured for a long time. And then Stephen Johns because of his continual headaches, we assume. We don't really know what's going on with him. But during camp, these are the lines that the Stars had. So for the first line is really interesting. So Hintz and Garyanov are together, which doesn't really surprise me. But Ben is up there with the 2 of them. What do you think about that?
I think that could be awesome. So what I'm hoping for, it's like we saw that heartbreaking video of Ben last season, which I still am mad at people for videotaping. But I'm hoping that he gets a fire underneath him and that he can really play really well with these 2 guys. I mean, I think him being somebody who gets in the right places at the right times, that could be a perfect fit for these 2 guys that just go flying. Because you see a lot when Gurry and Hintz are just flying down the wings, there's no one for them to feed it to. There's nobody behind them. There's nobody to get that drop pass to. So I think Ben could fill in awesome in that situation. I think that would be a really cool line.
2 young guns. That would help a lot. Okay, and then I'll do the obvious one. The FCC line stays together. Fox, Como, Cogliano. So they all get a year older, specifically Cogliano and Como. And then Foxa is just a beast. He's one of the best defensive forwards in the game.
Well,
not scoring wise.
Cogliano's already getting tweets like I forgot who it was, but someone said Cogliano is forechecking at 120% this morning, just in training.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So we love Cogliano's forecheck, and yeah, Fox has been great, and hopefully his faceoffs percentage just keeps getting higher.
Now, technically, people would consider that the third line, but I'm almost considering that the second line. It's a second checking line.
It's a third line because it's a checking line.
But they get more ice time. They almost got more ice time than the second line did in the playoffs. Because the second line in the playoffs was.
So if we're playing a team that has a really good first line and we want that matchup, we're gonna throw them on there more.
Right, I guess that's true.
Like a team without as much skill, then we're gonna not play them as much.
So, I guess our second line. I guess I'll say the second line. the technical second line is Kiviranta, Justin Dowling, and Radulov. I don't understand this fascination with Justin Dowling. He must do something right because Jim Montgomery loved him, and so does Rick Bowness, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't see him as a starter. I think he's definitely going to be on the taxi squad. So he's the one who's likely to get ice time when someone gets hurt. But I don't see him an opening day starter.
And then our fourth line is Dickinson, Nick Camano, and Jason Robertson. So it looks like Jason Robertson may actually finally crack that the opening night roster. So
I'd be very happy about that. I've loved every time Robertson has come up and played. I've really loved the way he's played. It's just really quick. He's really sly somehow. I'm not sure how else to describe it other than that. He seems to just get around people and just get the puck somehow. But I really like the way he played.
And then we got our defensive pairings, which they look, obvious from the playoffs, the COVID playoffs. You got Lindell and Kleinberg, like I said, Heiskanen and Alexiak. And I don't understand what NHL.com was thinking, but they were talking about Sekera playing with Heiskanen. What? No.
How smart
and then
NHL.com is.
Right. And anyway, then
he would never have said that.
Yeah, that's true. And then their third pairing, they've got Sekera and Mark Pysyk. So
it's Pysyk. That's how you say it.
I think.
I have no idea how. That's why I said psych. It looks almost like psych, but yeah, Pysyk sounds good to me.
And then the fourth pairing. And then the fourth pairing that they had was Fedun and Handley together. So
that's not really a pairing, though. That's just we've got two more defensemen.
Right. And then actually for the first day, for training camp, Hudobin was unavailable because first of it, immigration issues, and then he had to be quarantined in order to follow protocols. So for that first day of training camp, it was actually Ottinger who was the number one goaltender. And then he had Landon Bowe and Colton Point as the two backups for that. So,
yep, I think I really was starting to feel some of the sadness without having Tyler Seguin and what the line combinations would be like. But when I saw them release those line combinations that they're doing in camp, I'm really happy about it. I think those could be some really cool lines and really mesh well together.
Well, and so most of y'all are probably listening and being like, wait, where's Joe Pavelski? Well, Joe Pavelski was not participating on ice that first day either. So my guess is that with the second day is that he took Justin Dowling's spot in between Radulov and Kiviranta.
That is what happened.
That is what happened? That's what I figured. So
that's what he was.
All right. So, Chris, I think that's it. You got anything else? Yeah, we did it. First show on 365 Sportscast.
Sportscast.
Yeah, baby.
We're on the radio.
Radio star.
Oh gosh.
Radio kill the radio star.
That's copyrighted. Okay, thank you for watching or listening or doing whatever you did to find Starcastic Remarks. Find us on all your podcasting things and now on 365 Sportscast Radio. And find us on all your Tweetbergs and Snapbooks and all those. That's it for now. Was that good, Ryan?
That sucked. You absolutely took it up.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.